Here we are, hitting up events, drinking our way through Chicago beer, and trying not to miss a thing.
Yeah, because, get a cork popped out, boom, it flies like fucking 10 feet. We're like, yeah, let's do it.
All you have to do is add some fruit, stir it up, and ride that milk-shaped wave.
Whenever I see him, I gotta take a photo with the most decorated brewer in Chicago, Jonathan Cutler.
It'll be like the stuff you hear. You ever go to, every time you go to Floyd's, all the music sounds like this. Raw, raw, raw.
Sometimes you want a small beer, but really, you want a big beer.
You gotta take in all those big aromatic hops.
Hey, what are you doing this weekend? Waiting in line for a bottle release?
You should have never been a fad. The black IPA is delicious.
Hey, and welcome to Chicago Beer Pass. I'm Brad Chmielewski,
Brad, what's up, man? I'm Nik White.
and we are gearing up for our marathon, our summer training.
It's finally starting to feel like summer. Brad has an extra fancy light beer with watermelon and salt from Off Color Brewing.
Yeah, I saw this at the store. It was actually my second pick. I'll get into that in a minute, but I saw that it was a 6-pack for the 4-pack price, which is kind of nice. And then I saw that it was 2.62%. Is that even a beer? Man,
near beer, right? This is Beerathon.
Kombucha Plus.
So it's a bunch of pets running like a faux marathon, and then they've all got bandanas, which is my favorite part of this whole fucking label here.
They got the hedgehog just cheering them on with the mimosa or whatever.
That's funny, yeah. So the hops are Pacifica and Lotus. Can't tell you much about those. Then it's got Vienna malt, flake malt, and honey malt. So 3 different malts, 2 different hops, and a 2.6% beer.
And we weren't sure at first if it was going to be like the Goza, because that's with lime.
Exactly.
But it's not. It does not taste.
They're calling it a blended wheat beer now. What's the name of that beer? Troublesome.
And this doesn't have, although it says salt, it doesn't have the like Goza saltiness to it.
Yeah. What are they doing to Goza to make it that almost like briny saltiness?
Yeah, this doesn't have that brine.
Yeah.
That makes it sometimes unenjoyable.
This is I don't know, they're kind of play on like the healthy carb friendly beer phase, right? Or craze, because they got all these health stats on here, like 80 calories, 6% carbs, no fat, that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So that's kind of funny.
Yep.
This reminds me of when they first started, they had they called it a surf stout. It was 2.5% stout with McKellar.
Okay.
And it was Off Color. And I'm like, you guys are weirdos. 2.5% stout. It was so funny. Yeah, it was like 2 or 3% or something.
Okay.
Yeah.
I kind of like this beer is not only good, but I kind of dig that it's 2.6%. It's like the perfect lunchtime beer.
Dude, I'm here for it. And then, we were talking in the pre-show how, if you get an adjunct stout, you kind of want it to taste like whatever the adjuncts are. But when you get a lighter style, like, if it's a peach IPA or, you had something with a bunch of peach in it. And we were like, man, these lighter styles, I don't want a heavy-handed approach to the fruit necessarily. So I enjoy the fact that this is all very much in step. It's actually very nice.
Yeah, the watermelon taste, like watermelon isn't like a big, unless you're drinking watermelon water, you don't really, it doesn't taste like watermelon. Like watermelon just doesn't taste like water. Like there's not a lot of flavor to watermelon. That's where I'm getting to.
Yeah. If you put actual hazelnuts in something, it's not going to taste particularly like hazelnuts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But this has a good amount of watermelon in it that you're getting just enough that it's there.
Yeah. So that's fun stuff. I didn't even know they were in 6-packs. And we talk about Off Color all the time, man. They're putting in work because every time I turn around, there's like a brand new fucking beer from these guys.
Mm-hmm. And you make it there way more than I do. I go to the Whole Foods sometimes, and then I'm like, oh yeah, if I stop in, I got frozen stuff in this car. I can't.
Yeah, that's funny. Yeah. Always a good hang when I go to the old Mousetrap.
Mm-hmm. Nice. But I was saying this was my second choice because I saw a key lime lager from Pipeworks.
That sounds nice.
That sounded like a good summertime pick. Mm-hmm. And I picked it up and I looked at the date and it was May of 2022.
So a little over a full year. These motherfuckers. Where were you when you saw this?
Corner store.
Okay.
Like, nearby. That I don't know the full shelf life of some of these beers, right? I'm not a scientist. So
Right.
I don't know.
I'm no scientist.
Yeah, but I know that was too long for me.
I mean, I don't know. I feel like
Especially to be charged full price for that.
90 days seems like a lot, but I would say 120 days. It seems fair, right?
Yeah, I would accept 6 months
So,
on both things.
like 160 days, right? Something like that. Right. So, but not a full year. We both agree a full year is too long.
Right. Unless maybe it's a stout, like Bourbon County's still like.
Right. Certain styles, like certain styles are, your pale ales, your IPAs mostly, right? Yeah.
But lager from 13 months ago.
Maybe. I don't know. Because sometimes, that was when you talked to Doug from Metropolitan, he was saying like, a lot of the lagers you see are a shell of themselves by the time they get here.
Sure.
But I feel like you can, you're saying a lager because a lager with fruit or just lagers in general?
I think the lager with fruit.
Okay.
Like the
That's
fruit,
fair. That's fair.
like key, I don't know, the key lime or the kiwi, or maybe it was kiwi. I don't know. Either way, it just didn't seem like it was going to be as good as it would be May of last year.
Yeah, I think the only people I trust are the people who do the Radler. What's that? Stiegel? I fuck with them. Like, if it was a year old, I'd probably still fuck with them.
Yeah,
but it's a short list. It's
that's
very short.
basically juice. Like, that's some sort of soda kind of thing at that point. So I feel like, but you were saying that distributors supposed to destroy these, or they're supposed to come pick them up.
We've had talks with distributors about this, right? Because, that was the Beer Temple's thing famously when they started. They sent back, like, a huge percentage of their stash because it was out of code. And, we've asked distributors in the past, like, hey, what is protocol? And it's like, hey, we're actually, we go back and we pick up stuff and destroy it if it's out of code, whatever that is. 90 days, 120 days, 200 days, whatever. I think it sounds like that's the protocol. While they're making drops, they pick up out of code beer.
Yeah.
And they don't resell it. A lot of times they destroy it. So that's what we were told.
And it's, you want that from the brewery would want that because, look, I didn't pick up that Pipeworks beer because it was a year old.
Yeah.
And now I may not look for another Pipeworks beer again for a while because I might be like, well, I remember that time I went and got that one. If I would have got it and it would have been bad, may not have revisited a Pipeworks beer. I don't.
Yeah, we were saying
run into that problem.
Part of us wants to know, like, well, what is if this part is true about them? Beer goes out of code, it didn't sell, we come pick it up. As a retail shop, like, what is there a rebate of some point? Are you just picking it up and you get nothing? I've already purchased it from you.
Right.
So then I'm shit out of luck.
Are you buying it back?
Right. Are you buying it back or are you just picking it up? I'm curious about that part.
Right, because if you're the store, you're like, no, I'm going to try to sell this beer forever.
Right. We don't care. It could be 3 years from now.
Yeah. I'll put it in the $1 can bin, and someone will buy that. But, all right, but 2.6%. Getting on the summer train here. This is a good summer beer.
Agreed. That's very cool.
So, all right. Speaking of summer and adventures, what have you been up to? Wait, you went somewhere right after we stopped recording last week.
It was on my mind because we briefly talked about it on the show. I went to the artist formerly known as Smiley Brothers Lakeview.
Yeah.
I went to Good Times Brewery. So the exact same layout.
Okay.
But a new crew. I think we talked about it. The guy who owns a couple of restaurants in that neighborhood, one's a pancake house. He also owns this massive 10,000 square foot, 4 storefront brewery tap room place, okay. Brew pub. Yeah, so I'm like, let's go check out Good Times, man. See what's going on here.
And what'd you think? Did you have a good time?
It looks a lot. It's the exact same. I wouldn't say the exact same. It's branded slightly differently.
Okay.
Right. But I feel like the tanks are the same and the general layout is the same. and there's some mild changes to the aesthetic, right? Sure. I don't think it looks a whole lot different. They had a super tight, super small draft list, and I'm trying to pull it up here.
Which you would expect. This was also day one of them being open.
Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. One's a seltzer, 2 seltzers. Oh, so then the 2 seltzers, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then 5 beers. 5 beers, 2 seltzers for opening day.
Okay, well, seltzers I don't think really take that much time to brew.
Yeah, right. So I got the Chicago Gold, which is their pale, and I got the Lakeview Sound Machine, which was, I believe, a blonde.
Okay.
Yeah.
And thoughts?
You know, I don't know. There's, I think it was a very cool name. Let's start there. Is this Damnation Through Faint Praise? I've heard that term before.
Okay.
Lakeview Sound Machine is a very cool name for a
yeah.
beer. I was kind of out on these beers. They had we drink beer all the time, right? We just have a little, we have less patience, right? They had like this pronounced, it was a pronounced note in the beer that I wasn't expecting to have in a golden or a pale,
Okay.
kind of like a cooked vegetable kind of note. And I was like, what's going on here? This is pissing me off. Yeah. So
Well, isn't that I feel like that's an off flavor. I don't remember the name of that one.
Yeah.
There is a vegetable
I can
off flavor.
I can recall, some of those guys you hang out with, they nerd out. Well, most of the time you hang out with brewers, and they're like, I think it's a byproduct of maybe, could be anything. We won't say it's tanks, but it could be the process where the wort got too hot, or the temperature fluctuated.
Right.
Too
Or there
much.
could have been a cleaning fluid in the tank that didn't get fully cleaned out.
Yeah, could have been that. I don't know. So I wasn't too thrilled.
But you would hope the brewer is an ex-Rock Bottom brewer, right?
Yeah. So the brewer came from Rock Bottom, and then the new owners are current business owners in that neighborhood.
Okay.
Yeah.
But the Rock Bottom's closed, so that could be not a good sign.
Yeah, I mean, because we were talking about it. I think opening week jitters, right?
Yeah.
I mean, they got plenty of time to dial this stuff in.
And if he's coming on a new system, figure it out.
Yeah. I mean, God forbid we talk about it predates me, but people talk about Lincoln Park Lager that Half Acre used to make back when they contract brewed up in Wisconsin, and people never said anything good about that beer.
No.
The old timers that I remember talking to about it.
It got drank because it was a Chicago beer.
Yeah.
That was really the only reason those 2 Half Acre beers originally even did so well, that they were just like new Chicago beers.
Yeah, some places have humble beginnings. To be honest with you, what's the spot that Will Turner's at now, out south?
Hailstorm?
No, sorry, the one he just left, Open Outcry.
Yeah.
I wasn't too thrilled about that place, but I went back a year later and I was like, oh shit.
Sure.
Yeah. So I mean, I guess that's part of it all, right? Us not being brewers, it's hard to kind of lean into what you don't like too heavy without having that kind of, let me preface it by saying I'm not a brewer, so I don't want to lean into it too heavy. But,
Sure, yeah, but the beer is made for the consumer.
yeah, that's true.
So
if I don't like it, I don't like it. And you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's fine. Yeah.
they're not making beer for other brewers to drink.
They're like, when you walk in, where do you brew? Oh, we can't.
You can't.
We can't
serve you. No.
We can't serve you. I'm sorry. Yeah. So I don't know. The place was full. The place was packed on a Thursday night.
This is the problem. I feel like I've heard from people and even friends who are like, they love that this spot existed.
Yeah.
And they're sad to see it go. So
The old place, Smiley?
yeah.
Yeah.
And it's like, and you're like, this place was busy, but things have closed here. The Hopcat didn't work out, and that's not that far. And so other places have worked, but it doesn't work there for some reason. And if it's busy now, does it stay busy? It's like a weird problem that obviously did a brewery not work here, or was it Smiley Brothers?
Right. Time will tell. I want to say, well, this is East Lakeview, and that Hopcat was probably also East Lakeview,
Okay.
right? Because it's like Clark and
Yeah.
Fullerton-ish. I don't know if it's because there's so many options over there. I don't know what it is. For me, for that to be a very, very densely populated area, a lot of folks stay over there. For spaces not to work, I don't understand. I don't understand how they don't connect. It's a weird phenomenon because it continues to happen.
Right. So if this is only week 2 of Good Times, but if we're talking about it in a year and it closes or something happens, a brewery does not work there. Obviously. So if they can make it work, I hope they can make it work.
Yeah, and it's got potential because what's that place up the street from Metro? The Metro concert hall by Wrigley. There's a concert hall called Metro. And then there's a coffee shop / brewery like a block north of there. That place has been there, they said, for like 16 years.
Oh, the Green?
Yeah. Is it Uncommon?
Uncommon Ground.
Green Star, is that it?
Green Star.
Yeah.
But everyone, including yourself, agree that the beer is terrible.
But they've been there pushing 18 years, right? So what do we know, right?
I don't know. Some people can make garbage and survive, and some people can make great things and fail. It is a weird problem.
Yeah.
I don't begin to understand that.
Yeah. Part of it is, hey, the people who come here find value in it and they somehow feel connected to it and they keep going. So, and if that's the case, then good for them. God bless them. You know.
Cool. I was doing a bit of running around in Logan Square, Avondale area.
Right on.
I think as the summer happens, there's less, reason to drive out to the suburbs. Take those longer distances when there's so much happening in the city. It's really nice. You want to bike around. So just thinking about our recent Beer in a Glass where everyone's like, oh, thank you for coming to all these places. Yeah. It's like, yeah, we might not be back for a little while.
This town is active in the summer.
Yeah, so I got a lot of places to drink here. I got burgers to eat. I got cocktails to have, and I don't have to drive anywhere. But I ended up over in Logan Square, went to Still Life.
Right on. That's Solemn Oath in the city.
Yeah.
Right on.
I don't even remember what I had there, but it was
they got the lube for like $4 all day there.
Right.
Is that I think that's Kohl's.
Whatever the hours were on Google Maps or whatever were incorrect because I was like, oh, the person's like, oh, how's your day going? Blah blah blah. Chat. I'm like, oh, it's probably going good for you. You close in an hour. Like, no, we open till 10. I was like, oh, not according to Google.
Huh.
Someone might want to fix that.
The Googles are not agreeing with what you're saying here.
Yeah. So that was a good stop, and then we were basically eating burgers. So we were at Moonlighters, which they have a great pina colada, and I had a Hidden Hands beer there.
So this is all on Armitage.
Yeah.
Moonlighters on Armitage, so is Still Life.
So it's Still Life, and then we were heading up to Mother's Ruin for another burger, and we decided to stop into Hopewell.
Now you're in Avondale. Well, Mother's Ruin's in Avondale, and then Logan is the town over. That's where Hopewell is.
Yeah.
The Hopewell Brewing Company.
I was hoping that they would have this Italian ice in slushy form, and the guy was like, yeah, that sounds good, but yeah, we don't even have it on tap here. It's like, what?
We canned it all, man.
This should be your summer song right here.
It's a delicious
beer. Get it on tap. Get it in the slushy machine.
Yeah. If you don't have a slush machine, get one.
But I had their slow pour pills.
Okay. At the Hopewell?
Hopewell. Not as good as other slow pour pills.
They don't get it like
it was good. It had the ice cream top and
that's the best part.
Yeah, it looked good. But I think other people are making better pilsners.
Goldfinger.
Goldfinger makes the Ravinia got the slow pour pills, and that's good too.
Sometimes I get the Grunfeld Lager or the pills at Ravinia. Slow pour. You can get the slow pour in the
little stein.
In the stein.
The nubbed glass.
Underrated experience with their side faucet pour.
Right.
I like the Ravinia one.
So we are all in on Hopewell beers, but skip the Pilsner.
Okay. These are important nuances that people need to know.
Yeah.
Yeah. You don't just go anywhere and get anything. It's not how
just because you like Pilsners.
Right.
So like, go to the places that are known for the pilsners.
For sure.
They do a good slow pour, but it didn't come in like a stein or anything. But it looked nice.
Yeah.
I think I took a picture and put it on Instagram. So.
They looked the part.
Yeah, did its thing.
Get points for style, man.
Mm-hmm. And then with that burger at the end of the night, ended with the old style at Mother's Ruin.
This is the old man beer podcast, man. Mother's Ruin. So I like Mother's Ruin, because they're open really late, and it's not too far from me. Oh, but they call it Mother's Ruin because gin bars were some of the first bars that allow women to drink at them.
Oh, okay.
And it's not funny, but women a lot of times would like go into prostitution from frequenting gin bars, and then like leave their families and shit, or like sell their kids' clothes for gin. Like they were so excited to be able to drink this gin, and that's where the origin of Mother's Ruin comes from. Oh, because women were leaving their families to go be prostitutes and drink gin.
There had to have been something else in this gin. Like gin's good, but it's not. It's not heroin. I'm sure. I've never had heroin, but I don't think heroin's like you gotta leave your family and sell everything. But gin?
Because Mother's Ruin is a hell of a name for a thing. Yeah. So I'm like, what's going on here?
People made gin in their bathtub.
Right.
I guess people are making heroin with chemicals on their sink too, but.
Yeah. The old Mother's Ruin. Yeah, I think that's like a New York thing, and now it's here.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like
if it was the first one was in New York.
Oh, so that place, the burger place.
This is the second one.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Music is too loud.
Too loud.
Louder than the Maplewood.
Oh, man. The Maple Room's loud as fuck, dude.
Yeah.
I'm like, turn this goddamn music down.
Yeah. At least Maple Room is often playing hip hop.
Yes.
Very loud. Mm-hmm. This was like dance music, sometimes 80s, sometimes like
fucking, they're in there playing
EDM stuff, like at the fucking loudest.
They're in there playing Ace of Base, loud as fuck, huh? That's funny.
Jackson 5 all the way up kind of thing. It's like, no, like.
Yeah.
I can't even think here. Are you trying to get me to leave very fast?
It's a phenomenon, man. The worst example of that is I went to Violet Hour once.
Okay.
And I'm like, cocktail bar, easy living, They were playing Chief Keef. So loud. And I'm like, dude, I don't go to Violet Hour for this.
Right.
I'm like, I gotta go.
Yeah. And I thought maybe it was because it was late at night, but someone else confirmed it happens.
Like, no, this is it, bud.
They open it, I don't know when they open, but if they open at 10 a.m., they're just like, they have a button that's on. And that's all they can do.
That block is slowly coming together. Across the street is Loaf Lounge.
Oh, okay.
I go there a lot.
Yeah, that was far up in Avondale.
Yeah, it's to the part where it's like you can kind of tell there's like the old Polish bars and the old Polish sandwich shops. You can tell like the old and the newer neighborhoods are kind of melded together.
Right, because you're getting up to Porch Park, like if you keep going down Milwaukee there.
Yeah.
So. Yeah. And then, other than that, last night I was over at District Brewery Arts.
DYB.
Chicago location.
Not Wheeling. Okay.
Which I kind of wish I was at the Wheeling one because they have multiple food options.
And it had a nice little outdoor thing too.
Yeah. This one,
that does?
Is it here? Yeah,
I've never been outdoors. Oh, and then because it was Lily Q's in the city, but up north there's like the different.
There's
concepts.
There's Lily Q's, there's a taco place, and I think there's a burger thing.
And the one in the city?
No, in the Wheeling one.
Right, the one up there has got there's a seafood one.
Yeah, I think it's maybe like fish, meat, chicken.
But here, but in the city, it's just Lily Q's.
Yeah.
Okay.
Which Lily Q is good.
Okay.
But I kind of could have went for a taco.
Yeah.
And then I think I had a beer from every spot you got around the bend, Burnt City, Twisted Hippo, and Casa Humilde. I did have that. We recently drank that Casa Humilde Hazy.
Pour your own damn beer.
And it was good. And I had it there again.
Yeah, I like Casa Humilde. I like that, and they connected with. Every time you go to an event in Pilsen, they do block parties in Pilsen a lot. Mm-hmm. And Casa Humilde always has a huge presence at these things. So yeah. I like the old Casa Humilde.
First beer when I went in, I got the Vera, pistachio cream ale.
Yeah.
That was good. And then they had another version on that had peaches. And we had this Meyer lemon
Pretty good stuff.
Vera. That was good. This
Is it-
peach one, too peachy.
Are they going Vera? Because Vera's a pistachio stout.
Yeah.
Now, is it pistachio plus these other
It
things?
said pistachio cream ale plus peaches. I thought it did.
Okay. Because that would make
It was
sense.
a different name. It was like, I don't know, Villita or...
Right, because Meyer Lemon Vera had a different name too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Peach heavy.
You going, these lighter styles with too much goddamn peach in them. We gotta stop this.
Yeah. If you love peaches, maybe I just don't love
Maybe we're learning about ourselves here.
Yeah.
Because I'm out.
I was talking to another guy when I got that. He's like, peaches kind of suck. Like, they're hard to eat. You make a mess. And they're never as good as you want peaches to be.
Ice cream. I feel like that's a sweet spot for a peach.
That's good, yeah.
Short list though.
But you bite into a peach, it's fuzzy, and then
You got this huge pit.
and then you got juice everywhere.
True. A little on the texture side too. A little mushy. The peach is a little mushy.
Maybe I was just coming to the conclusion that peaches kind of suck.
We didn't realize it till we had these peachy ass beers, and now we're out on peaches. Jesus Christ.
But it was interesting to see that Dan over there around the bend is kind of experimenting with that Vera a little more. And
Yeah, little brand extension, man.
yeah. And I wonder what happened. He was rumoring to have a new spot opening up.
Well, I think we learned through Dan that all the guys at Brew Yards, like up north is Histrionic, but any of the other five, none of them are obligated to just be at brew yards. They can all be at brew yards and then still pursue their own and standalone breweries. So, which is good. I didn't know that either.
Yeah.
So that was cool to know. Yeah, I think we confirmed that with the Hippos. They were like, hey, that's the cool part about being in this is that we can be here, but then we can also just have our own space.
Yeah, that's nice. So yeah, good week. I realized that we forgot to mention from Beer Under Glass, you were talking to the Perch guy.
Oh shit! Yeah, we did talk to the Perch guy. I forgot about that.
You got a little bit of a lowdown on the never-ending Finch saga.
Oh man, the most
Maybe
bizarre.
the ending story of it, the final chapter here.
Finch, the final chapter. Yeah, we were curious about just the Perch in general because it's such a cool space and it sits right on Division, right? And then we're like, you never brew there. Every time we go, there's only Finch beers on. He's like, no, it's half Finch beers and half the Perch beers. And then I think what his response was, the project was always 50-50 with Finch. So even when they were at full tilt, they always had Finch take over half the draft lines.
Okay.
And then if you saw a beer that wasn't a beer from Finch, it was the Perch. It was an in-house beer.
Okay.
And I don't think that was ever clear to us, right? Like I didn't understand that.
I thought it was the Perch brought to you by Finch.
Exactly. And everything was Finch beer. And this was the location because the name is the Perch and Finch's thing is the logo's a bird. So we're like, oh, cool. This must be the Finch tap room.
Right.
Because you couldn't go to the real Finch tap room. Mm-hmm. That's what I thought. But it wasn't that at all. It was always a joint project. And now that they split, there's no more Finch beer. It's all the Perch beer. And they're making the beer. They have a very cool copper system. It looks great. And it's the first thing you see when you walk in. They got a gorgeous fucking space, man. I really like their space.
Yeah, so now this has nothing to do with Finch now. This was the brewer. But then we heard the rumor that the accountant was the brewer at the Perch.
And I asked this guy, I'm like, is this your first brewing gig? He's like, yeah. I'm like, well, where'd you work before this? He's like, oh, I used to work at Finch.
Oh, so maybe he was the accountant.
I think it is the accountant for Finch. Yeah. So they kept Finch's accountant, quit bringing in Finch beer. And
well,
now
he wasn't. They weren't making any money, so he didn't have much to do.
Wow.
So
it's a rough crowd today, man.
2% beer. This guy.
Oh, man.
So so the Perch is now no longer associated with Finch. Really,
Yeah.
they probably have like maybe some investor stake in it. But
That's a nice ass space. Yeah, somebody's got some bread. That's a very nice space. I like the outdoor because their outdoor is kind of their patio is kind of covered patio, and it's got like cobblestone out there and fountains and shit. There's a lot of kids and dogs and shit out there, but if you don't go on the night where the kids and dogs are there, it's a pretty good hang.
Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, I just realized the other day we forgot to talk about that.
I forgot about the old finch.
Yeah.
The perch.
The perch. Cool. Any other stops or places of note? Beers of drink?
No, I had pretty chill week, man.
Okay.
Pretty chill week.
There's a few events coming up. One is Andersonville Fest this weekend. Got to get those glug slushies. Oath Days, I think, is also this weekend.
I think they're doing Burger Dude's going to be there at Naperville.
At Oath Day?
No.
So that's happening. There's also in 2 weeks there's a couple other things that I'm like blanking on right now.
Yeah, I'm looking to see if I saved anything.
But there's basically something happening. Some neighborhood festivals happening every weekend in Chicago. And then everyone has their like anniversary. 2 weeks from now, Printers Row Brewing has their 2-year anniversary party.
Well, how about that?
Like block party. I happened to go to it last year.
Mm-hmm.
Just kids watching magic outside and drinking beer in the street kind of thing.
Wow.
So that's happening up in, Jefferson Park at Printers Row.
Yeah.
Not in Printers Row. I guess inside Printers Row.
Ravinia, there's a Ravinia location, not in Ravinia. There's going to be an Irving Park location, not in Irving Park. Printers Row is not in Printers Row. 18th Street is not on 18th Street. Yeah, we could probably keep going there, but...
Well, Goose Island will soon be on Goose Island.
Yeah. Which further proves the point. Goose Island, the original Goose Island, is not on Goose Island. Yeah.
Half acre, I don't know if that's an actual half acre that they have.
They had a chance to become a whole acre, like we discussed last week, but they opted to be a sun catcher.
I did see in Aurora, Foreign Exchange is now installing tanks, and I thought they were dead. After we interviewed the guy, he disappeared.
The god Ricky Cervantes, yeah.
Kitty Wampus, is that there?
Yeah, which was a huge hit. People went nuts over this beer. It's so much so that it prompted our guy Chris Jacobson to say, Ricky Cervantes is not God. And so now every time I refer to him, I refer to him as the God, Ricky Cervantes. But yeah, huge hit. Like, that was a big home run for them. Right out the gate, it was their first beer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it seemed like the project, like something did happen because they secured this space in downtown Aurora.
Yeah.
Not far from, I don't know, the casino over there and all that stuff.
Because they were brewing at Itasca or whatever, Church Street.
Yeah.
Church Street. Yeah.
But there's a Facebook update bringing the tanks in.
Good for them, man. Good for them.
So cool. In Aurora, it'll be downtown Aurora.
Kitty Wampus for all. Right next to Naperville.
Do you think he can make the comeback?
It was
Or is he is it almost forgotten at this point?
I wouldn't say it's a one-hit wonder because I haven't tried some of the cool barrel aged stuff that he did with, Whiskey Hill. But I don't think his stuff none of the stuff after that had the impact where we are, like Kitty Wampus did.
Okay.
So, so some of it was hard did he ride the lightning of Kitty Wampus? We would say no, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, will he get back to the heights of Kitty Wampus? That's what you're wondering.
Because he's almost starting at zero again.
Yeah, unless he's got a following, in the West, in the burbs, because the burbs are its own thing.
Yeah.
Unless he's got a following out there, and we just don't have line of sight to it, because we do what we can, but those drops in the burbs, like I haven't had a Whiskey Hill beer since I went, like almost 3 years ago.
Okay.
And I'm sure their stuff's good. It's just I never get out there.
Can't go to them all. There's over 300 breweries in the whole state.
There used to be Ale to the Burbs or, Suburbia or Poor Man. They were kind of what adjacent to what we do, but they were mostly burbs. I kind of wish there was a thing like that too, so we could kind of live through them a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, but we gotta put the whole region on our back here.
I
man.
know. We gotta carry this whole state. Turn down your music. Give us that 2% beer. Yeah. If you slow pouring, we might be there. Check, see what you got.
Man.
Any other news or anything you saw?
I think that's it, man. Shout out to Rev. They're doing the Freedom Fest again this summer.
Okay.
Yeah, that's just a festival with all their Freedom Series beers, which is their Session Sour series.
Okay.
I did see that. Half Acre's doing gay karaoke because it's Gay Month. Is it Gay Pride Month? Gay Pride Month.
Just Pride Month.
So Pride Month.
Yeah.
This is gay karaoke, but it's Pride Month.
Yeah.
All right, we got it.
And that Deep Woods is coming up in a couple weeks too, right?
I'm kind of jazzed about that. That all looks great on paper, man. Great on paper. There's Cuvées back, and then there's a coffee version of Cuvée, and then there's a tropical version of Straight Jacket. This all sounds pretty fantastic.
Okay.
Shout out to Maplewood. I saw that they're doing something called Cuppa Origins, where it's just a straight up coffee stout using a single origin coffee.
Okay.
I'm curious about that. They kind of call it an ode to coffee beers, like
All right.
a love affair with coffee beers. I'm curious to see how that turns out.
And then I saw Goldfinger has a beer out with Hopewell.
Oh,
So they teamed up on a beer that's going to be in cans because there was a label for it. Or at least cans maybe at the brewery. So that would be fun to try.
yeah.
Whew. It's rough. There's too much to do.
Summer's here, man.
I know, real summer. We gotta enjoy it. Hit up some new spots. Explore the city.
Enjoy it.
Explore the burbs. But I think that's gonna do it for this episode, right?
Right on.
Nick, where can people find you? Get in touch.
Hey, man, I'm on Twitter at Nicosio.
And I'm on Twitter at BRAD, Chicago Beer Pass. Posting photos on Instagram all the time. Look for that. And we'll be back soon with another episode. Take care.
Cheers.